welcome back to the Tea and a Butty podcast. I'm Dominic.
And I'm Erica.
And today's episode, continuing with our Halloweeny theme.
Woo!
Woo! Yes,
this
is our Halloween series. You have to listen to these at Halloween.
What other haunted or scary sounds would you put in there since we did the woo last time?
Quack.
I don't know how
Quack.
scary that is. Maybe someone out there has a fear of dogs. But...
Maybe, no, just a little quack, 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 quack. Quack, quack.
But yes.
These are a selection from the National Trust. Oh, sorry.
Hopefully this won't be as kind of depressing as the previous.
The last one was pretty depressing. We were talking about Britain's
murderers.
Most notorious killers.
Yes.
And it was very depressing, yes.
Yeah.
It was terrible. But this one promises to be fun for all of you who are into ghosts.
Yeah.
And things. And
Yeah.
haunted stuff.
There must be
because this is the haunted houses episode.
Yeah.
Haunted
Britain's
houses.
most haunted places.
Haunted places, yeah.
There must be a lot
And
of
we've got
people.
a couple from the National Trust who have kindly allowed us to use their website to look at them.
There must be a lot of people interested in hauntings and ghosts and all of that kind of stuff. Because
hugely.
those ghost hunting shows.
They are so popular.
Yeah, they're really popular.
So popular.
Apparently Britain's got their own, too, because I've seen British
Most
people.
haunted.
Is that a British one?
I think so.
Yeah, and there's hosts of it. Just like
There used to
over
be
here
the one with Derek Ackera. He died recently, I think, but there's a famous clip of him I can sense someone here, and he was a medium or something, but they discovered he was a big hoaxer or whatever.
Do they only do British places, or do they travel around the world? And do
I think
places
I think they travel all over the UK and maybe some in Europe too.
Yeah, because I think on our ghost shows, I don't even know what they're called.
Ghost hunters.
Ghost hunters. Yeah, I think that's one.
Yeah, I think they go
all over the world. Yeah. Because I think I've seen, because my niece and nephew kind of like those shows and stuff sometimes. And I think that I've seen them be at some prison in Britain or something, whatever. But okay, so this is gonna be interesting. Anyway, let's see what.
These are all British ones.
Yeah,
all the most British of hauntings,
and they're all from the National Trust.
All from the National Trust, yeah.
Okay.
Because they've got a section on their website that's the most haunted places that they own.
Yeah, and if you don't know what the National Trust is, we have done a podcast.
Yes,
haven't we?
Yeah, we have. We talked about the National Trust several times and extolled its virtues.
So go look for that anyway, and you can learn all about what the National Trust is.
Yes. Anyway, the first one is the Ghosts of Ham House. Cold spots, the sound of footsteps, and an inexplicable scent of roses have been reported at Ham House in Surrey. Glimpses of mysterious characters all around this place has won it the reputation of being one of our most haunted places.
Cold spots. You always hear that. Oh, you get a chill, And it's just why? Why do ghosts insist that you feel cold when they're around you?
Yes, I don't know. And I mean, scent of roses, what's all that about, eh?
I guess because when you die, you go cold, your body goes cold.
Yes, it's
you don't have
death is cold.
Yeah.
You don't have the warmth of your blood anymore and heat or whatever. Yeah, I guess so. And so your spirit just goes whoosh, it's like wind going through you, it's very cold here.
It's got to be the opposite. Well, I mean, it wouldn't work for heat, would it? Because women would just be well, I must be starting menopause.
Hot flashes were had in this room. And at the centre of it all seems to be the restless spirit of Elizabeth Murray, Duchess of Lauderdale. She inherited Ham House from her father in 1655.
Okay, why is she haunting it, though?
And in life, Elizabeth was ambitious and ruthless. She played a dangerous political game by being friends with both Charles II and Oliver Cromwell. Ooh. Her aim was to guarantee herself a place of influence with whoever ended up in power.
That couldn't have ended well.
Some speculated. When her first husband died suddenly, she quickly married the recently widowed John Maitland, 1st Earl of Lauderdale. Some speculated darkly about how the suspiciously close deaths of both her husband and the Earl's wife facilitated Elizabeth's rise further up the social ladder. But in the end, she ran out of luck after the death of her second husband. came financial problems. This, along with ill health, forced Elizabeth to confine herself to a single ground floor apartment at Ham House. It's on the ground floor where ghostly events seem to be concentrated. Many visitors report a strange, oppressive atmosphere in the room. Pets seem reluctant to enter. There is also a large looking glass dating from Elizabeth's time that some people say they are too scared to glance into, inexplicably afraid of what or whom they might see staring back.
So is this place open to the public?
Yeah, these are all National Trust places. So
right.
You can go there. And
okay, yeah. That's right.
In addition, a woman in black, believed to be Elizabeth, has been seen on the stairs nearby. But Elizabeth isn't the only spirit to haunt Ham House. The ghostly screams of a suicidal young nobleman who fell in love with and was rejected by a servant girl have also been heard at the property.
It's interesting. It's kind of
what was that scream? Oh, it was that nobleman.
What's he screaming about? He's always screaming.
I mean, it just goes to our show Ghosts. We talked about them.
Apparently, that's doing well too. Here. They've they've not renewed it, but
we call it our show like we invented it.
They ordered a full season of it.
Oh well, there you go.
So I guess
it might be pretty good to watch.
Yeah.
Without all the commercials, because it was on the BBC, the British one, so no commercials. But yeah, I encourage you to go check out the UK version and check out the US version, which is currently airing on NBC. Is it?
I'm not sure.
Or is it CBS?
I wouldn't say CBS.
Yeah, one of the broadcast networks anyway.
Look it up. It's called Ghosts.
Yes. Our next property, which is haunted, Treasurer's House. And
we should have done one British most haunted places and one American most haunted places, because I feel like we've got some interesting haunted.
It's mostly Civil War, isn't it? People
Civil
see.
War ghosts. Yeah, those Civil War people.
It's always Civil War ghosts.
They just love.
Well, I see your Civil War ghosts, and I raise you Roman soldiers.
They're always walking around saying, "I do declare."
It's
Roman soldiers.
Soldiers.
Is that this one?
Yeah.
Okay, let's hear it.
Many people have reported seeing the ghosts of Roman soldiers in the cellars of Treasurer's House. Cool. The best known account comes from a retired policeman, Harry Martindale. Before he joined the police, Harry worked as an engineer. One day, aged 18, he was installing a central heating boiler in the cellars of Treasurer's House. Suddenly, he heard the sound of a trumpet and saw the top of a soldier's helmet apparently emerging from the wall against which he was working. He leapt from his ladder, watching in disbelief as behind the trumpet player plodded a horse and about 20 soldiers walking two abreast.
And he hadn't even done any drugs that day.
They were carrying lances, round shields, and short swords.
Oh my god.
According to Harry, the men looked tired and dirty. Terrified, he shot upstairs. He bumped into the curator, who said, before Henry could utter a single word, "By the look of you, you've seen the Romans."
Wow.
Interestingly, Harry's account of the men carrying round shields was at odds with contemporary ideas about how Roman soldiers were equipped. They were generally believed to have only used rectangular shields, and some used this fact to discredit his story.
Oh, so he saw the movie version of the Romans.
He saw the ones in the movie version, yeah. However, later research has revealed that during the 4th century AD, the 6th Legion was withdrawn from York and replaced by troops that carried distinctive round shields. In addition, later archaeological research revealed evidence of a Roman road 18 inches below the current cellar floor. So it's like...
So we don't know about this one. We
don't know, but...
It's not as convincing.
They've kind of said, oh no, maybe.
It's not as convincing as the nobleman, the screaming nobleman from the first one.
Treasurer's House in Yorkshire, so yeah, Roman roads in York in the cellar.
You know what? It's they were just charging through. Like, he didn't have to run away, I don't think. They weren't after him.
You've seen the Romans.
I would have been like,
those Romans,
I would have hollered, where are you off to? Where are you going?
The next one is pretty cool, though.
Okay.
From Blickling Hall in Norfolk, you'll know.
Okay.
That one.
Yeah.
The Headless Ghost of Anne Boleyn.
Oh, what?
No.
No.
Just come on now. Hear me out now.
She must have much better things to do.
This grand Norfolk residence is home to one of history's most famous phantoms, Anne Boleyn. Blickling Hall stands on the site of an older medieval manor which is thought to have been her birthplace. Anne Boleyn was famously beheaded on the orders of her husband Henry VIII when he became frustrated that she didn't bear him a son and heir. Now her headless ghost is said to return every year on 19th of May, the anniversary of her execution. As night falls, Anne Boleyn's ghost rides up to the house in a coach drawn by a headless horseman, with her own head on her lap.
Why is the horseman headless also?
Because he was driving Anne, and they were just like, anyone associated with her, chop off their head. The moment the coach arrives in front of the house, it vanishes into thin air. Tradition also has it that when news of Anne's death reached Blickling Hall in 1536, 4 headless horses were seen dragging the body of a headless man across Norfolk.
4 headless horsemen were seen dragging...
4 headless horses.
Oh, horses.
Were seen dragging the body of a headless man across Norfolk.
Okay.
Also, Anne Boleyn's father, Sir Thomas, is also said to haunt hereabouts, having been cursed for taking no action to prevent 2 of his children being executed by Henry VIII. Each year his ghost has to attempt to cross 12 bridges before cockcrow. His frantic route takes him from Blickling to Aylsham, Berg, Buxton, Coltishall, Mayton, Oxnead, and Wroxham. Oh God, he's having quite a time. He's got a little time trial he's got to do.
Oh no!
Has to attempt to cross 12 bridges.
And what happens? What happens if he doesn't?
We don't know.
Oh no!
If he doesn't, he has to do it again the next night, I guess.
Poor guy.
Well, each year his ghost, so it's like an annual thing for him.
It's like the Olympics.
It's like,
will he do it this year, ladies and gentlemen?
12 bridges. Can he do it before the cock crows? The spirit of Falstaff. Other less dramatic ghostly residents of Blickling Hall include the spirit of Sir John Falstaff, the inspiration for Shakespeare's Falstaff, and Sir Henry Hobart's dying groans are said to be heard emanating from the west turret bedroom on the anniversary of his death. So yeah, there's a lot going on at Blickling Hall.
But let me ask.
I wonder anybody gets any peace.
But let me ask this now.
And then they've got the ghost of Sir Thomas who has to cross 12 bridges. It's like, no wonder,
Once a year, every year. This is punishment. Let me just ask, though. Because I always thought that ghosts haunt the place where they were killed.
Yeah, that's a common misconception. I mean, you can go anywhere as a ghost, can't you?
Why?
I mean, in ghosts, they say, oh, yeah, we were killed and we can't leave this area.
Yeah.
It's like, we were all killed in this house or we died in this house.
Yeah.
And our spirit is doomed to remain here until we move on,
Yeah. I mean, that was always what I
But Thomas has to come back and do his 12 bridges.
That was always
before the morning comes.
Well, yeah, because that's something that I guess... I mean, I don't know, but why is she been killed by Henry VIII, and yet she decides to go and torment people from the place she was born? It's just like... Maybe
she should... Well, she might not be tormenting. She might be just coming
She doesn't have a head. She's tormenting them. She's like, look at me, I have no head. This is what you have to look at. Why is she not doing that back, like, where she was killed? Why is she not pissed off?
Well, that's the Tower of London, isn't it?
Yeah, why is she not pissed off there?
That's pretty haunted, too.
Yeah.
I mean, there's too many people at the Tower of London, so she thought, I'll just go home. Just go home.
Why just once a year, though? She just goes for a visit once a year.
On her anniversary,
to
remind people that, look what my husband did to me.
This is what happened to me. Beware of husbands.
Going home.
Beware.
Sick of him.
Look out for husbands.
Look out for husbands called Henry who chop their wives' heads off.
I mean, if she always comes back at the same time every year, you would think that would be a pretty big tourist attraction, though. All right.
Well, yes.
All right, it's a quarter.
I'd personally like to see this spirit do the 12 bridges.
Yes, I know.
Her father doing the 12 bridges.
You're very fascinated by that.
Yes, I mean, he has to do it. It's like his thing. He's like, I've got to do this now before the morning comes.
Yeah.
It's very important to him to do it every year. Got to cross these 12 bridges.
Yeah, I mean, and because I guess if he finally makes it,
then he doesn't
have to do it anymore.
He doesn't have to do it. He goes off to heaven or wherever, So maybe that's his penance for letting Henry VIII kill his kids.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you know, I have to do 12 bridges, you know.
I have to do the 12.
And if I miss, I was halfway across the 12th one and then the bloody rooster crowed. I'll have to do it all again next year now.
Oh my gosh.
Ruin my life. The next one is many peculiar and unsettling reports of ghostly activity have come out of Newton House in Carmarthenshire in Wales. The 17th century building, enveloped by a Victorian facade, is set in an extensive landscape park. In the 1980s, a TV crew stayed overnight at this lonely property. Their aim was to try and capture some evidence to support the many stories of ghosts and strange happenings at the property.
Yeah.
Although they were unable to record anything, at one point a cameraman swears that he felt an invisible pair of hands squeezing his throat.
Ooh.
On other occasions, staff members have reported hearing muffled voices when they know that they are alone. Lights switch on and off when the house is empty and locked up. There are also a number of mysterious cold spots. Here you go.
There we go.
Cold spots.
Again.
Now we're getting into it.
Yeah.
And from time to time there is the unmistakable aroma of pipe or cigar smoke when no one is smoking. One possible source of all this paranormal activity is the murder of Lady Eleanor Cavendish. Lady Eleanor was the cousin or sister of the lady of the house in the 1720s. She was forced to marry a man she didn't love. Their marriage was a disaster, and eventually she ran away from him to seek refuge with her family at Newton House. But her enraged suitor followed, burst into the house, and strangled her to death.
Oh, God.
In the very room where the cameraman felt hands around his throat.
Ooh, that's a bit...
I mean, maybe that's what it is. Some ghosts just repeat what they last did, you know?
Yeah.
But I mean, he strangled her.
Yeah.
Why would someone feel being strangled because it wasn't him that died, you know?
She wants them to feel what she felt.
Yes, maybe.
Probably.
Maybe that's her spirit. It's just like, everybody who comes into this room is going to be strangled.
She's like...
I don't care.
Yeah. Surely she's just like, oh, she wants someone to know that's how she was killed and that's what happened there and it was like this and this is how I felt. And
yes, yeah.
You know. But yeah, you know, in the show Ghosts, which we were talking about before.
Yeah.
The Victorian
woman she falls out the window. She jumps out the window or something.
Well,
she falls out because she didn't jump.
At the stroke of 12.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they were sick of it because they were waking her up.
But it turned out she was pushed. Yeah.
Plots, you know, we spoiled that.
Yeah.
She was pushed by someone. I can't remember who it was.
Her husband.
Husband pushed her out.
Yeah, spoiler. Sorry about that.
So, you know, people going into that room, they don't feel like, oh, I've just got pushed out of the window.
Yeah.
You know?
No, but she does that every night at the... Yeah. You know, but I don't know. How would that ghost get strangled again, you know, unless her person that strangled her was a ghost there also, you know?
Yeah.
So she's got to make them feel how she felt, I guess.
Yeah. Feels like, oh, someone was strangling me, you know?
Yeah.
Buckland Abbey is the Devon home of Sir Francis Drake.
Okay.
And he lived in glory as a national hero, but his spirit is not a happy one, and his ghost is said to haunt his Devon home.
Oh, so there's even some famous ghosts then.
Well, Anne Boleyn wasn't famous.
Anne Boleyn, yeah, that's true, yeah.
She's going to haunt you now. She's going to come here with her headless head. She's going to sit on the edge of the bed. She goes, not famous, am I? I had my head chopped off by a king.
Well, I'm just picturing Helena Bonham Carter now talking to me like this. Didn't she play Anne Boleyn in that?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that was a good miniseries with Ray Winston as Henry VIII.
Mm-hmm, yeah, if you guys can
there was a lot of people actually in that.
Was it a BBC thing?
It was a BBC thing.
Yeah.
I think it actually was a television film rather than a miniseries.
Yeah, so maybe you might be able to find that on like Acorn or BritBox or something like that.
BritBox should have it.
Yeah.
If they don't, then they're missing a trick because it was really good.
Yeah.
The house built on the site of the former abbey was sold to Sir Francis Drake in 1580. He made Buckland his home after returning to England after his 3-year circumnavigation of the globe on the Golden Hind. But while Sir Francis was regarded as a national hero, many locals feared him and believed he had supernatural powers.
Okay.
Some said that he had only defeated the Spanish Armada because he had made a pact with the devil.
Oh, jeez.
His ghost is believed to ride across Dartmoor in a black coach driven by a headless horses. Why is headless horses?
Headless horses?
Yeah, by headless horses led by 12 chattering goblins.
Oh no!
Goblins!
You love goblins!
And pursued by a pack of baying dogs.
This is a little known fact about Dominic, you guys. He loves goblins.
Goblins are cute, okay? They cause mischief and they make you laugh and they go boo.
I don't know. We're gonna have to research this headless horses phenomenon because that's a first for me. I always thought it was the headless horsemen.
Well, yeah, but apparently
the guy driving the horses,
yeah.
He's headless. But I've never heard about these headless horses. Apparently, they're very popular in Britain.
The coach driven by headless horses led by 12 chattering goblins.
Oh my gosh!
And pursued by a pack of baying dogs. Any living dog that hears the spectral barking is said to die instantly.
Okay, so it's a coach.
So this may be the real how.
Let me just picture this now. It's a coach.
It's a black coach.
A black coach that's being driven by 12 goblins. 12.
Sir Francis Drake is in the coach.
Okay.
And it's being ridden by 12 headless horses, led by 12... Oh, no, it's being driven by headless horses, led by 12 chattering goblins.
What does that mean, led by, though?
I mean, I guess they're riding them?
They're the ones
or
that
maybe
are
they're
driving
in
it, right?
Yeah, I guess.
They're the ones that are driving the headless horses.
Yeah, maybe he's got to, like...
So is there one for each... Is there a goblin for each horse? I don't understand.
Or maybe
this is a lot going on in this.
Who's seen this?
I don't know. How many people have seen this? This is a very extravagant haunting.
It's the real Hound of the Baskervilles.
Okay.
Because it's riding across Dartmoor.
Yeah.
It's possible this story inspired Sir Arthur Conan Doyle to write The Hound of the Baskervilles, as he is known to have visited the area and is very likely to have heard of the ghost.
Okay.
So this ghost this is the ghost of Sir Francis Drake. He's believed to ride in a black coach across Dartmoor, driven by headless horses, led by 12 chattering goblins, and pursued by a pack of baying dogs. It must look terrible.
Yeah, that's a lot.
So you have to go see that now.
Yeah. And any living dog, did you say that?
And any living dog that hears the spectral barking is said to die instantly.
No.
Ugh.
No.
I mean, really, I think that's better than the 12 bridges. See, there you go, 12 bridges, 12 goblins.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's 12? What's the significance of 12 in this?
And the other, theme is the headless horses.
And headless horses.
And the cold spots.
The cold spots.
Yeah.
I mean, lights flickering on and off and all that kind of stuff is kind of mandatory.
These are
They interfere with electricity, ghosts do, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, should we have a little bit of a discussion as to whether we believe any of these or not? It can be a bit controversial. I think the topic of whether or not you believe in ghosts, but I don't think it has to be, because I think it, why wouldn't there be ghosts? I have never personally seen one, but that doesn't mean that it doesn't exist.
I mean, I definitely saw a ghost I've told you about this before. He was in that little alcove just outside, and it was just a glimpse for a second, and it looked like he was dressed in
In what little alcove?
That little alcove right by my bedroom in Penalt.
Okay.
There was a bookshelf there. It was right outside.
Oh, that was a creepy little space.
That was a creepy little space, yeah.
It was right under the, attic door?
Yes.
Yeah, that was a creepy little nook.
Yeah. And I saw a figure there, and it scared the living daylights out of me.
Yeah.
I thought it was someone in the house.
Yeah.
And it was kind of dimly lit and everything, and I just had the light of the bedroom door, and I was coming out there, and I was like, oh, I went oh, who's that? But it was gone in an instant. It wasn't it didn't stay to say hello to me or anything,
But you lived there for a while, and that was the only time that ever happened.
That was the only time it ever happened. And I told my dad about it. I said, God, it was I don't know. He goes, oh yeah, because he says, oh, I've seen a ghost once too, and he said it was on the ship.
Oh yeah.
And I was in my bunk,
Mm-hmm.
and this guy, and he was kind of like, he looked like he was dressed like an old sailor.
Yeah.
And I didn't recognize him from the crew or anything, you know. He came past the door and he goes, I've passed this way before. He looked in and he spoke to him.
Yeah.
And my dad was reading, and I just said, what? You know? And he just walked on. And then, like, a few minutes later, like, his bunkmate or whatever came in. He goes, who's that guy that just passed? You know, and he was like, there's no one down on this deck. It's just me and you.
Yeah.
And he was like, there was a guy. He just found, and my dad was sober as a judge. You know, it's and he said, and you know, because I said, God, you had a few to drink. Have you been on the cider? You know?
Yeah.
And he goes, no, I hadn't. I was, you know, because we were planning to go out, you know, and I was just like, what the hell was that guy?
Yeah.
And then, you know, we talked about it later on, and it was like, oh yeah, there was like a legend of that ship or whatever, you know. Mm-hmm. It was one of the dock workers or something, you know, had gotten those the legendary ghost stowaways, you know.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I mean, ships and all that, they've always had ghosts.
I mean, like I say, I've never seen a ghost. My dad lived in this house when, shortly after my parents got divorced. And I think I've told you this before, too. And the couple that had lived there before him were an elderly couple, and they had both passed away. So we believe that it was them, just like going about their daily business. We never saw anything, but we would be in the front room with the front door open, because all the houses up in the Panhandle have screen doors. So you can have the actual wood door open, but the screen door where you can still see outside. And the doorbell would ring, which could have been an electrical issue. You know, you could write it off as that. Maybe. It happened several times. But then at night, you could hear footsteps after me and my brother and my dad had all gone to bed, and he'd come in our room thinking we were up, you know, to come in to get onto us, like you're supposed to be in bed going to sleep,
up,
you know. And half the time my brother, and this happened again multiple times on multiple different occasions, my brother was almost always asleep, and I'd be laying there still, you know. And like, we're not up, you know.
We're not awake.
We're not awake. It's not us. And so he'd be like, stay in this room. Let me go. You know, thinking maybe someone had broken in, whatever. But when it happened more than once, then it was obvious, you know, no one was in the house. Early in the mornings, like just before we're going to get up, you could hear drawers opening and closing in the kitchen, cabinet doors opening and closing. So we were just like, okay, they're up, they're making their breakfast, they're getting their coffee, you know, whatever, the old couple that had lived there before. Because it was just like, it just sounded like someone was in the kitchen doing their business. But no, none of us ever saw anything. But that was, I think, as close as I've ever come to seeing a ghost. My mom saw her aunt, her great aunt, appeared at the foot of her bed, just there, didn't say anything, just standing there. And then shortly after that, and my mom was in bed, I guess going to sleep, I'm not sure, this is when she was young, and then my grandmother had come in and said, oh, my aunt just died, you know. Oh, yeah. Shortly after that, yeah. But she saw her before my grandmother came in to say, oh, you know, Aunt Mary just passed away, you know. She was just like, she was just here, so, you know what. So, yeah, I mean, I believe in it. Why not? It's like...
ghostly apparitions.
Yeah, the universe is made up of energy, and...
I mean, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, we're all made up of energy. Yeah, so let us know if you guys have any ghost stories. It's getting dark now as we're...
It's getting dark, I can't see.
As we're recording this, so it's getting to feel a little bit spooky. Now. Yeah, it's getting a little bit spooky. But definitely let us know your own ghost stories if you have any. I'm always interested to hear, like...
And there's more on the National Trust site about, you know, Dunster Castle.
Oh, yeah, okay, let's have a few more then before we run out of time.
Dunster Castle is full of ghosts, and those that work at this ancient Norman fortress report many strange experiences.
Yeah. I always don't...
Peculiar sensations, inexplicable events, and sightings of ghostly figures.
I always don't think that ghosts are, like, scary. You know what I mean? Like, I think if I saw a ghost, I don't know if I would be scared, other than the fact that maybe when you first saw them, you'd think, oh, someone is in my house. But I don't think a ghost is... They're not wanting to do you harm, are they?
Yeah, no.
If anything, they're just...
They can't do you harm, really.
Yeah. I mean, if anything, they're
Except
maybe
mentally,
just
maybe.
wanting to get a message across to you about something that happened to them. They're just wanting you to be aware, maybe.
Just like, oh, you know.
Yeah.
Like, there's a terrifying presence at Dunster Castle.
Mm.
And it concerns the remains of a 7-foot-tall prisoner that was found manacled by the wrists and ankles, along with several other skeletons in a deep dungeon beneath the gatehouse.
Oh, gosh.
Even in broad daylight, the place where these skeletons were found is dark and gloomy. Dogs seemed particularly troubled by some kind of sinister presence at this site and refused to climb the steps near to where the bodies were found.
That's another thing about ghosts, isn't it? Why do these...
Why are dogs so... Oh, you know, what's a ghost?
I can believe that. I can believe that. Dogs, you know, they're more sensitive.
Doggies.
They're more sensitive to vibes. You know what I mean? So
strange vibes around here.
Yeah, so I get that.
Want to get out of here.
Anytime our cat is, like, looking past me, is like staring very intently, like she sees something past me, that always freaks me out, no matter what. Mm. You know, when we're downstairs and she's, like, looking up the stairs, like, there's something up there. Yeah. I'm just like,
she looks at our wall. She looks at our wall sometimes.
I'm just like, stop it. Stop. I need you to looking up and she's like, now. No, but my question is, why are ghosts always seen at night rather than during the day? That's a little suspicious
because
to me.
It's dark, you know. Yeah. They only come out at night.
Yeah, why though? What's their aversion to the daylight?
I don't know. Yeah.
I don't know.
Something maybe you can answer.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Oh my gosh. Anyway. Yeah, I think we are out of time.
You're out of time, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we could probably make a part 2 to this if I were guessing.
Yeah, there's plenty more to talk about.
Yeah, so if you find this kind of thing interesting, I mean, we can talk about it even if it's not going to be Halloween.
And we hope you have a happy Halloween.
Yeah.
It's very spooky.
Do you guys dress up? Do you do anything for Halloween, or is it just
Halloween
any
costumes.
Other night? It's on a Sunday this week, so, you know, it's a little bit... Although I think they've canceled...
A little bit weird.
Well, you always think, oh, maybe you're not going to get so many trick-or-treaters if the kids have to go to school the next day, but I think they canceled school.
They canceled it. School's out for the day.
Yeah, for Monday, so we'll get some trick-or-treaters. We don't hardly ever, though, do we?
No.
I think it's because we live down at the end of the street and it's dark and spooky.
Yes.
Yeah, kids are just
and we don't turn on... Well, we do turn on the light, but they don't see it, I guess.
Yeah, we always have candy. Trying to, you know...
And we just don't answer the door.
We try to participate, but, you know, nobody wants to venture down here to our night.
I think we got like one maybe last time, and that was it. Oh, well.
I prefer to go trick-or-treating with my niece and nephew anyway.
Yeah.
And see all the, like...
You just want to get the candy, not give it away.
I like to see people in costumes, and I like that.
Yes.
I like that a lot of people who answer the door and give out candy do bother to dress up. Also, you know, I think that's fun. So, you know, you get to see that and the other kids going up and down the street, and yeah, it's fun. Reminds you of when you were a kid, you know, when you
very young,
when you used to be able to go and collect candy yourself and not just have to steal it from your niece and nephew.
Yes.
Anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed this episode. Let us know if you've seen any ghosts. Let us know your Halloween plans. We want to know all the things.
We want to know all the things about it. Yeah.
We appreciate you tuning in as always. Thank you for your support. Be sure to check us out on social media. We are at TButty, TEABUTTY on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And we will talk to you next time.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.